Thank you so much. This is actually not just my story. This is Carl's story. Carl, a longtime member here, often sat right over here in the corner. And Carl, if you're watching or listening today, I know he gave permission to tell this story. But Carl touched my life, and I want to share this story with you. So Carl has been at Concord Reserve and had asked for no visitors but cards. And when I saw the number of cards in his room, you all have responded to him so beautifully. I asked Pastor Marissa a few weeks ago if I could go and just stand outside his room and play some hymns. Some of you know I play viola, and I asked if I could just play some hymns and bring a bit of church to him. And she checked with him, and he said yes. The week of Thanksgiving, I went over to Concord Reserve, and I got to his room, and the door was open, so I thought I'd just poke in there and see if he was awake, if he was okay actually with my being there. Well, he was sitting in his chair, and I walked in, and he gave me a big smile, and he said, "Oh, I'd love to hear some music, but let's visit first." And we had the most wonderful visit, just a wonderful visit. I learned a lot more about this church's history through his perspective. It was really delightful. I also learned about him and his career and his profession, things we don't generally talk about on Sunday morning. Carl and I had been in a Lenten group when I first joined Good Soil a year and a half ago, and it was wonderful, but we didn't learn about each other's professions or other things in our life. We shared together the sorrow we both had at losing our spouses. We also shared the joy we both have with our children. And it was a moment of Carl ministering to me, as well as my going and being able to spend time with him. Towards the end, it was getting dark. We just talked and talked and talked, and it was getting dark. And I said, "Well, let me do some music. Carl, why don't you sing along? I'll play some favorite hymns." And he said to me, "Deb, I don't know if I can remember words to hymns." Well, after he sang all 4 verses of Beautiful Savior and didn't miss a word, we went on to a few other hymns, and then we prayed together. It was really a moment of ministry from Carl. He may not be sitting here this morning, but he's still a part of this congregation and still ministering to us. And that's part of the surprise of Advent, the coming of Christ in our lives. And I feel that Advent is a time for us to open our hearts for those surprises in the way that God works within us.